Now that season 7 of Game of Thrones has ended, fans are busy speculating what will happen to their favorite characters in the next and last season. So here are my theories. Well, apart from the impending realization that she isn't the last living Targaryen and the heir to the Iron Throne after all, she has a lot coming for her in last season. Her romance with Jon Snow will surely not be so harmonic, especially when and if she finds out that she is his aunt. Apart from that, she is bound to get her Iron Throne, unless of course she decides to give it to Jon instead. Since Targaryens have married their siblings for generations, I don't think it will be so horrible for her to marry a nephew of her own age, or even a little older perhaps. She will definitely be involved in a showdown against the Night King, and Drogon will face his brother Viserion in a fight till death. Only question is, how hard is a zombie dragon to kill? Cersei just can't be headed towards a good ending at all. She is again pregnant with her brother. However, knowing the prophecy she got as a young woman, she will likely suffer a miscarriage. She has also alienated her best friend and brother Jaime now, who seems to have just realized what a horrible person she really is. Cold, cruel, and capricious. The woman is a menace, simply put. She will even have to marry Euron, perhaps, in order to keep a strong ally at her side. I think her death is inevitable, pretty much inevitable. Even though Cersei herself never did any harm to Daenerys' family, her father did, and a grievous one. Also, she was married to the man who killed her brother, and her own brother killed Dany's father, of course. Whether she will be burned alive or just given a choice to die by poison, we shall see. Jaime's fate is perhaps the most uncertain of all of the major characters. Now that he has really seen his sister from her worst angle, he cannot love her like he used to, and will do anything to get as far away from her as possible. As a Lannister, a member of a fallen house, he doesn't have much of a future in Westeros. I can only see his brother saving him from getting killed at the hands of Dany's Dothraki or dragons. He may become the one to help the Targaryen alliance win against Cersei. Well, now that we know that he is not really a bastard, there is no point in calling Snow. Jon just barely escaped death in this last season, but in the next and the last one he seems to be headed towards great things. If Bran indeed reveals to him his true identity and parentage, then he is the one in line to rule, not Daenerys. However, that will also drive a wedge through his romance with Daenerys. Even though Dany may not be so much against marrying a nephew, Jon is of a different world entirely, and will not feel good about it. Otherwise, his enemies are all dead and defeated except for Cersei and the Night's King. One can imagine an ending with him as the new king of the Targaryen dynasty, but knowing what an honest fool he is, he may well turn down the offer and leave it to Dany instead, while he goes back to the north and plays a good Stark. He also may get to ride Rhaegal, since Daenerys needs someone to ride her other dragon now, to help her against the Night's King and the zombie Viserion. And Rhaegal is named for his father, after all. Tyrion will be pretty much safe and get out of it unscathed, I think. That theory about him being the son of Aerys may or may not be confirmed in the last season. He will likely do everything to save his brother from ruin and show him a better way, yet knowing that he killed his queen's father, he will hardly get a pardon for that, Jaime. But who knows? I can see Tyrion ending the show as Queen's Hand or King's, depends on whether Jon will accept the throne. Samuel's arc has so far been a rather predictable one, but with the death of his father and brother, he is now effectively the Lord of Horn Hill, and it changes his whole situation for the better. He will likely marry Gilly and settle at his home castle as a far milder and more just lord than his father. Before that, he may be the one to break the news to John about his real parentage. I have a feeling Bran will not be the one to do it. Bran, there have been endless theories about what he will do when he becomes the Green Seer, aka the Three-Eyed Raven. He will walk a dragon was one of the most popular. If so, then we know which dragon that must be, Viserion. Only he can turn him back, hopefully. But I think the writers will rather have Daenerys fight Night's King with Drogon and Viserion engaging in a duel. That Bran will play a major part in last season, perhaps the biggest, that is not hard to see. He is after all the most powerful weapon that the good side has. His future is pretty mapped out for him otherwise. Being in a Three-Eyed Raven is like being in the Kingsguard or the Night's Watch, a call taken for life. Arya has had the most unpredictable arc of all the characters, of all the Stark characters anyway. She has been through all kinds of rough and has had to hide her identity much of the time. This has made her a perfect stealth agent, spy, and later trained assassin. This means that her future is likely not at home in Winterfell, but as an agent and a ninja-like assassin for her family. However, when that war with the Lannister faction finally ends, what will she do then? She will be a bodyguard for her sister, I guess. Don't see much else in store for her, unless Jaqen should pay her an unexpected visit. Now that she has proven that she has the brains and the guts to dispose of liars and traitors such as Littlefinger, Sansa has shown that she perhaps is the one who deserves to rule Winterfell the most. That of course depends on whether Jon accepts his birthright and rules as the king of Westeros. But even if he does not, when the truth of his true parentage is out, he can no longer be the ruler of Winterfell, and so Sansa is the most logical choice. Not only is she the eldest living child of Ned Stark, she also has the ability to rule and the perfect air of a lady, graceful and commanding. She may marry Theon. After all, without him she would stay as Ramsay's sex slave longer. Theon's fate is not that hard to figure out. He will most likely succeed in releasing his sister from Euron's captivity, especially now that he has been at Dragonstone. But he will not want to rule the Iron Islands, I think, even if he has gained a new respect for himself among the Ironborn. Being unable to sire an heir will be a major problem for him becoming a ruler there. So I think the unthinkable will happen and he will end up marrying Sansa and become the consort of the Lady of Winterfell. Jorah will most likely die fighting for his queen. I think there is no better way to finish his storyline, because he doesn't really belong anywhere after the war is over. He was shown to be jealous of the bond between Dany and Jon, and he will not like having to watch them as husband and wife every day in King's Landing. He cannot hope of becoming the captain of the King's Guard, because that spot will surely go to Grey Worm. And of course Tyrion is the hand. So what is Jorah if he survives both wars? Just an old man who is surplus in Jon's or Dany's court. Only other ending for him I can visualize is that if the wall gets rebuilt, he becomes the new Lord Commander of Night's Watch, thus fulfilling his father's wishes. The Hound is another one likely to die fighting and saving the others against the White Walkers, along with Beric most likely. He has now used up most of his 9 lives, and next time he will not rise from the dead if the dead kill him. But before he dies, he will surely have his vengeance against his zombie brother, and will kill him but surely get severely wounded. Or he may die fighting him, that's also possible. Missandei and Grey Worm will get married most likely. Their place at the court is obvious. Missandei will be Dany's main confidante and Grey Worm the commander of the King's Guard, unless he should die in battle before that. But if Dany doesn't end up marrying Jon, which is pretty possible, then I can gladly picture Missandei becoming Dany's paramour and sharing her bed. Now this is the wild card. Euron has his dragon horn and with it can do further more damage perhaps. Also he may even end up getting Cersei as his wife when Jaime deserts her. But it will be a very testy and cold marriage. I think Jon will kill Euron, but perhaps Theon or even Yara may get to do that. I'm afraid he can end up dead as well. The nice old guy usually does. Roderick Cassel is the best example, as well as Maester Luwin. But if he doesn't, he will surely be happy to return to his birthplace and just live a good life and perhaps serve as Jon's own advisor. He will likely not part from Jon. He has become like Jon's surrogate father in many ways. And Jon has replaced his sons also in many ways. A heartwarming relationship. But knowing the show's cruelty, they may just hurt Jon one last time by taking his surrogate father away. I hope not. Brienne, good old big Brienne. I believe she will stay at Winterfell and perhaps marry Jaime in the end. Maybe Jaime will be allowed to return to Casterly Rock and become the Lord there, in Daenerys and or Jon's service. Then he may indeed take Brienne as his wife, or just his bodyguard. I can't see Brienne ending up dead. There is one more possibility how her arc might end, and it's, yes, the lovable savage Redbeard. Tormund has been smitten with Brienne for some time now, and while she hasn't yet returned his affections, she may. Tormund is now pretty much without a home, but when the dead army gets defeated, he can return. Only question is, will he? Now that most of his people are either dead or turned into zombies, he doesn't really have much to return to, unless Bran and Jon manage to turn his people back by killing the Night's King. Then he will return home as their new ruler. There has been a rumor circulating among the fans that Meera may really be the sister of Jon Snow, his twin sister, and the other child of Rhaegar and Lyanna. A proof of that may be their physical likeness, and also Meera being very good with the sword and other weapons, like Jon. It is quite unusual for a Reed and a crowned woman, since they are known to use nets and spears instead of swords. I would really like this to become true. Now that Meera has angrily left Bran and Winterfell, she may well be headed for a union or a reunion with her long-lost brother somehow.